So then we move on to the post-tribulation view, which is probably the more common one than the pre-wrath view. One of the major scriptures which points to this is Matthew 24 and verse 31. Read the whole of that passage. Matthew 24, it says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. He will send his angels with a great sound of the trumpet. They will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other." So according to this view, verse 31, the sound of the trumpet, the gathering of the elect, is the same event as you have in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, where you have a sound of the trumpet and the Lord gathering together his people. So it's the same event. Now, if that is the case, then there's no more argument, actually, because if that's the case, then the rapture has to be at the end of the tribulation, because he says, immediately after the tribulation of these days, so-and-so is going to happen. Okay, so this has to be basically the major point for the post-tribulation rapture. Jesus said it's going to happen after the tribulation, then the trumpet will sound and God's going to gather together his elect. If it is the same event as 1 Thessalonians 4, the rapture must come after the tribulation. And the elect equals Christians like you and me. The Lord gathers them with the sound of the trumpet. Therefore, it's the same event as 1 Thessalonians 4. There are counter-arguments to that it's not the same event. There are certain differences, and the elect who he gathers together are the Jewish people from past and present situations, so those who've died before and those who are presently believing in Jesus, and he gathers them together, and that's the gathering of his elect, who are the Jews who are saved during the tribulation period, and also because it speaks about he will gather his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other. So he's not just gathering from the earth, he's gathering from one end of heaven to the other. So the possibility is he's talking about a different group of people being gathered together here before the second coming of Jesus to the earth, or at the same time, in fact. Another argument for this is the word parousia. The word parousia is a Greek word for the coming of the Lord for his saints, often used to describe the visit of a king to one of his cities, when he'd be met by a group of his officials and relatives who then accompany him in procession into the city, as seen by the resident population. In this case, the two events follow each other. First of all, taken up, gathered to meet with the Lord, then come back with him as a kind of reception committee, if you like. Interesting, if you look at the book of Acts, chapter 28, you have a similar situation when Paul arrived in Rome. News came that Paul was coming, and a whole group of people who were believers came out to meet Paul and went with him into Rome as a kind of reception committee. So the post-tribulation view is that is really what happens at the rapture of the church. God gathers together the believers so that they will come back with him as a kind of welcoming committee, bringing Jesus back to the earth. It happens at the same time. So you have straight up, straight back again. Not straight up 7-year period in between, or even a 3.5-year period. It's all in one. Okay, those are the major issues relating to the post-tribulation rapture.